Hello, yogis. This class is going to be a level 2-3 vinyasa flow centered on really working the handstand into your vinyasa. So if you are a handstand lover or you are just kind of getting started with wanting to learn how to incorporate handstand into a vinyasa flow, this class will give you some tips, tricks, and ideas. And then this is work that you can conceivably, as long as it's okay with your group class teacher, for you to work into your own vinyasas in any group class. When I go to a group class, I often will work handstands into my Surya Namaskar and sometimes even into the standing pose transitions. And my teachers are okay with that. So some teachers want you to stick strictly with exactly what they are instructing. So do know that, maybe check in with your teacher if you intend to start adding this work into your vinyasa classes. Handstand is just another pose. It gets a lot of attention on social media because it looks cool and it makes for good pictures, but it is just another pose. So try not to take it too seriously. For me, the reason I started wanting to learn handstand and why I like to add it into my vinyasas is because it's fun. It gives me a sense of playfulness. It makes me feel a little bit like a kid, doing a cartwheel or playing on the grass, So try to approach it with that mindset, that it should be fun and it's not something that you need to grip at or grind away at. It does take some dedication, and you definitely want to make sure that you continue to strengthen your wrists and your shoulders, but approach it with a child's mindset, right? Approach it with a sense of adventure and fun rather than frustration. So that is my little handstand speech. Okay, so we are going to start. You will need a wall and you will need 2 blocks and not much else. So a willingness to maybe fall over. That's also important. A willingness to be lighthearted about it. So measure your distance from the wall using your leg, and then place your hands about at hip height at the wall. And come to like this L shape at the wall. So I would like your hands to be in line with your hips and push the wall away from you. Find that wrapping down of the outer armpits, and then drive into your left heel and plug the right hip into its socket just to hover that foot about 1 inch off the floor. Finding that action here. Noticing maybe, where do you feel it in the back of the shoulders? There's connections back there that are complex and amazing. And then set the right foot down, drive into the right foot, and hover the left foot. Push the wall away, wrap the outer armpits. Find that plug as if you could really pull that foot further from the floor, and then set that down. Now, where your feet are is where your hands are going to go. So turn around so your back is to the wall. Place your hands right where your feet are, and you're going to walk your feet up the wall and come to an L pose here. Now, if you feel like your hips aren't quite stacked over your shoulders, maybe walk your hands a little bit further in. The dimensions can get thrown a little off. Okay, and then let's do it with the right leg first. Lift your left leg up. If you're afraid of falling, maybe put some cushions behind you. Okay, now with your left leg up, point your right toes so that your toes are the only things on the wall. So find that hip plug, plugging the right hip in, and that brings you to your toes. And then maybe you just push through your hands and flex the foot to balance. And then come back. So find the hip plug, push the floor away, flex the foot, find your balance. Do it again. Hip plug, push the floor away, find your balance. Okay, and then come down to rest between sides. So beginning jumping forward in your vinyasas, you will want, like the easiest way to kind of find it is to jump into an L pose handstand. It's a little bit easier to balance. And then finding this hip plug action is really what helped me. I remember the first time I got it in class and I was like, oh my God. And it was because of this hip plugging action. So I offer this to you. Remember where your hands were. Walk your feet back up the wall and come to your L pose. Maybe reposition your hands. They're a little too far away. And walk your feet down. Okay, lift your right leg this time. Now plug your left hip into the socket so that you come up to the toes of the left foot on the wall. Push the floor away and just flex the foot to balance. Okay, and do it again. Plug the hip. So find it from the hip. Don't just point the foot. Plug the hip so that your toes are the only thing on the wall. And then flex, and then flex the left foot to balance. And then do it again. Plug the hip, push the floor away, maybe pull the toes away from the wall. Oh, that one wasn't so good. And then come down. So roll out your wrists a little bit. Turn back around. Let's just come to standing and bring the back of your hands to the floor, palms up, and place your feet on your hands. Just get a little bit of a stretch out of your wrist. Maybe massage with your toes. Maybe bend the elbows a little bit. All right, now we're going to try a few Surya A's, finding that hip plug. We'll try to jump up first a few times and then work it into Surya A. So you want your mat maybe 8 to 12 inches from the wall because you need space for your head for chaturanga, right? So you can't be all the way up against the wall and you'll hit your head. So space your mat about that distance and come to standing at the front of your mat. Take an inhale, look up, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, plant your hands and step or jump to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths here. All right, step your left foot a little bit closer to the midline and do the hip plug with the right hip. So do it a few times. Set it down, plug it in, float it an inch off the floor. Set it down, float it, set it down, float it. Now plant the right foot, step it a little bit further forward. You're going to lift your left leg, look forward of your hands. Now, when you go to kick up, you're going to try to find the hip plug immediately with the right leg and try not to touch the wall. So bend deeply through the right knee, kick up and find the hip plug. And then come down. Try that again. Kick up, give yourself a few tries. For me, it helps to flex the left foot. For some, it helps to point the left foot. So play around with the left foot, but be active through the entire left leg as you work. No noodles. Now, if you catch handstand, you're going to try to step your right foot to the front of the mat as quietly as possible. Meet it with the left foot. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Inhale, drive into your heels, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to prayer in front of your heart. Inhale, look up, reach up. Exhale, forward fold over your legs. Inhale, halfway up. Plant your hands on the floor, lift your left leg again. So right foot again. This time we're going to go back to chaturanga. You have options here. So find a few kicks, try to find the L. Try not to hit the wall. If you float, you have the option of either stepping the right foot down and stepping or jumping to chaturanga, or you start to bend the elbows and lower slowly straight to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's lead with the left leg this round. Drive into the right foot, plug the left hip in. Do it again. Do it a few times, really feeling it out. And then step your left foot a little bit forward, lift the right leg. Look forward of your hands. Give yourself 3 to 5 tries to find the L without touching the wall. Now, if you find the float, you try to step your left foot to the front of the mat as quietly as possible. Meet it with the right. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, drive into your heels, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to prayer in front of your heart.